to a fair reflection for the tragic delay of the 15 seconds in joining the show. We know the listeners missed us. How are you all doing? Today is a fine, beautiful day. I feel like Brother Tarek right now with the Rise and Shine show. Brother Asad, first of all, how are you doing?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. I am well. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, all is well. We are enjoying the summer finally after a somewhat delay, I think, of the month of end of July and start of August. But here we are. The date is quite important actually to our discussion today. Today is the 15th of August. I was about to say January. 15th of August. Yesterday, as you would have all known, especially in Luton, it was the 14th of August yesterday, which is important because it marks the Independence Day for Pakistan. And the 15th obviously marks the Independence Day for India. They decided to do it on separate days. I wonder why. So we've got multiple parts of discussion today. That's going to be the interesting, potentially controversial, potentially, very challenging part of the show, which is, are Independence Days or nationalism of any sort, is that acceptable in our, no, it's not going to be a fatwa, we're not passing fatwas here, but in terms of the moral fiber of our society, and coming somewhat from the Islamic point of view, but we're not going to pass any fatwas that haram or halal, but does it fit in with the overall belief system? Let's put it that way. So that's going to be the controversial and interesting part of the show. Before that, we want to touch base on what's been happening with our beloved Luton Town Football Club, and get people up to speed with the latest. So, Brother Asad, as you know, they had made it to the biggest league of them all. I don't have to announce that. Everyone here knows how well Luton have done. There is a very interesting documentary which I've only seen bits of that Sky Sports has made, which is the fall and rise of Luton Town Football Club. So I think that is quite an interesting watch. And if someone has seen it, please give us the feedback on what it was like. If it's anything controversial is said about the Muslim population, because I know in the past there has been some, not issues, but incidents with some of the fans from the club, and obviously certain masjids and stuff. There's been some incidents, but obviously that's not the large fan base. That's just a few people that get a little bit carried away. So what are your thoughts? Well, first of all, what are your predictions for this season? Let's start with that. And text us in on 07779 481822. And Brother Tarek, please correct me if that's the wrong number, but I've memorized this number, so I don't think I can ever get it wrong. 07779 481822.
No, 779.
There we go. You see, I can't even get it out of my head. So yeah. So what's your predictions? Start of the season. They've already won their first game.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
I mean, lost their first game. That's what I meant to say.
1 away. Well, score a goal.
They got a goal against Brighton, who apparently finished really high last season.
Yeah, they did. I think top 10. That way.
I mean,
that's still big. I thought Brighton was much in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
but that's not true.
That's not the point when I found it lost.
To be honest, I think that couple of warm-up games or the friendlies before the Premier League, and they won like 2. They drew 1 and 1-2. And then Brighton was our first game, which we lost. Next was supposed to be Burnley, but that's been postponed. So now next game now is Chelsea, which I think is 25th August.
25th August.
Against Chelsea.
Oh my God.
Chelsea. And these are all the way. Our first home game will be 29th August. Against
29th.
That's the EFL Cup. Anyway.
Oh.
Gillingham. The first will be 1st September.
That was in the bag. Oh, West Ham.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't actually get with the fact that we're in the Premier League. This is crazy.
First game.
The Hammers.
Right. But yeah.
No, the Hammers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, my prediction is that I don't think we'll do a Leicester in terms of winning, but I think we will. I just hope we stay out of relegation zone. So I think a win would be staying in the Premier.
Well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Leicester, people have quoted this to me a few times now, but Leicester didn't win the league the first season and got to the Premier League. I believe they were there for a season or two, whatever. It wasn't the first season, like the maiden season of the Premier League. but I have a feeling Luton might do it.
Yeah.
A man must believe. That's the way I see it. A man must believe.
I mean, on the 4th of November and the 11th of November, Luton are playing Liverpool and Man United. So I'm just looking forward to that, mate. Just seeing this for me is amazing. I mean, our next game is against Chelsea. Wolves we played before in a friendly, we drew.
So let's look at the Premier League table and let's actually go through the teams and think who we can potentially beat. All right.
Can't go back anyway. So
this team, the Premier League
the
now,
first one was Newcastle.
they did really well last season, so I don't think we'll beat them.
Think they're better than Brighton, put that way.
Yeah.
Then obviously we've got Brighton, we've got beat already. Man City.
Now, Man City, I think there's a chance that
that's a good chance.
they might whoop us.
Yeah, they might. 4-6.
Man City, look, okay, right, fine. Man City.
Arsenal, I think there's a chance.
See, Arsenal can't do well against smaller teams, generally speaking.
Yeah, I think Arsenal has a chance.
So we might trip them up.
See, all Arsenal fans out there, I'm sorry, but
Crystal Palace. Now, I could be wrong, but I think Crystal Palace have some sort of a problem with us. But I could be wrong on that. So we'll beat Crystal Palace. Fulham. We could take Fulham.
Yeah. I mean, look, all teams, Fulham, the main night, okay. Brentford is a chance, but Brentford have, they're like a dark horse.
Brentford just got in this season as well, didn't it?
Last season.
Oh, last season, okay.
Yeah.
So, we'll take Brentford.
Brentford, they beat all the big teams last season.
Oh, they did actually. I remember. They
remember correctly.
didn't they? Yeah.
Tottenham, I don't know, hit and miss. So Tottenham's not doing so well right now, and people are leaving. Harry Kane might be leaving as well.
He's gone, isn't he?
Is he gone?
Well, I thought he was going to Bayern Munich.
Oh yeah, can't remember that.
Right.
Bournemouth is a chance of a good victory there.
Yeah.
Chelsea's next week, so we'll find out. Liverpool, I think, will beat them every day. What is Liverpool? Really?
Yeah.
Think about it.
What is Liverpool, did you say?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a weird take on life.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of football, not really a good team.
I mean, there's only been 2 L's that I've supported in my life.
Huh?
I've only supported 2 L's in my life. Luton and Liverpool. So there we are.
They're not L's, bro. One of them isn't.
I take a lot of L's with Liverpool.
That's only West Ham is beatable. Nottingham Forest, I think, is beatable. Everton, beatable.
Okay.
Sheffield United, beatable. Wolves, beatable.
Yeah.
Burnley, beatable. Aston Villa, I think we can.
Look,
we can stay in the Prem.
We just need to not be the last 3. That's all that matters. And so, I think Brentford are out this season.
No,
Fulham
gone. I think out this season will be Sheffield United.
Sheffield United gone.
Nottingham Forest, and most likely Burnley.
It'd be so interesting to see what the historic debt is on the fact, the 3 teams that come up.
Yeah.
How many of them actually stay this season? It'll be really interesting to see that. But I don't think we'll get to that. But I think on a more serious note, I think this is we've always had this where the club is actually a really good opportunity for us to do not just that one, but actually community work together with them. And we have done bits with them actually. I think it was 2 months ago where we had all of the mothers and kids from Oak Road Mosque. We took them all to the stadium, and this was actually in between the two playoff matches.
Yeah.
So they played one, I think, and they'd lost that one or something, hadn't they?
I think it was a draw,
the first one. And so it was between that match, and we met the manager and we met the chairman, and they were really good, like in terms of how they were with the kids and generally the community. I think there's a lot of cohesiveness around the club, and I think it makes sense for us to support them and get behind them, and encourage them.
Yeah, I think a simple thing that maybe we may not all be able to go to the matches, mainly because of the fact that they're not available, the tickets as much. Also because I suppose pricing may have increased slightly, but then we can perhaps, I don't know, merchandise and things like that, like a scarf or something. It's just anything to support them, really, because they are a club and they're part of our community too.
Well, and also I think it has, obviously, support them on a social level and everything is good, but I think it has long-term benefits for people living in Luton. Okay, there might be some negatives too, but I think overall, the more popularity Luton gets, especially not for notorious things, the better it is for Luton. And so I think we're moving in the right direction. I was going to say something I was going to say about Luton Town Football Club.
They're amazing. They're great.
And now evasion.
Working together.
Working together. What?
Just playing on the football field. Manager being nice. I don't know. You were going on that
No, well,
direction.
thank you for reminding me 5 minutes back now. I don't know what I was going to say next. So no, I think let's get behind the club, and I think we should support them. And look, as long as even if they come down, it doesn't matter. Even if they go back to the championship, it'll be sad, but this is a joyous moment for us. So let's enjoy the Premier League, and it's only been one game. And next season, or even this season, we might end up winning it. Who knows?
Next season, definitely Champions League and winning, I think.
Yeah, look, Champions League is a given,
Yeah.
Given the condition of the players. I think they perform better in Europe than in England. Because the thing is, in England, you play against the teams regularly, right? You go to Europe, you know who's Luton. The only Luton they know is the Luton Town because everyone flies to Luton Town from Europe. So then they'll just take them a blitz attack.
It's be many things, but don't be a fool, man.
So that's the discussion on our football. As you can see, most people in Luton, especially young people, are quite passionate about the football. You've grown up watching teams like Liverpool, Man City, United, and thinking, oh man, these are big clubs. And now finally we have a chance to have our own team there. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, Liverpool don't exist to me anymore. They do in the sense of I want them to do well as well, but not in the sense of I would support them.
Can you imagine the likes of Man United, what's the name? Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, all these big clubs will be coming to Kenilworth Road.
Getting doner and chicken and chips before the match or something.
Exactly.
Almond salad, chicken. I can't say the name of shops. Apparently, that's against business inspiring policy.
Yeah.
The one about the one about the tea. The one about the chicken and chips.
Yeah. But and the amazing thing is, Oakwood Mosque is right next to them. So I'm hoping we do something.
Are you trying to revert people?
Get the crowd engaged. Mosque is such a nice location. It'd be wasteful if we were not to do something about that.
So we've had comments coming in from the listeners, and look, rightfully so, people are hurt. And I think you have in particular hurt your sentiment, saying things about Liverpool and other clubs. So look, can we be mindful of these things going forward, please?
Mate, Luton's winning for sure. Well, maybe not winning, but
so Luton we all support, but even now everyone has their allegiances to other clubs too. So that's where we stand. But I think you're right. The mosque part is very important because. Sorry, you're reading that.
No.
The mosque part is important because I think we can, especially Oak Road, another masjid, central masjid can play a good role here. Islamic Centre, the Jami Masjid. There's all these mosques that are really close to the stadium. We can be almost welcoming to the supporters, and obviously within reason. I know that some people get drunk and out of their minds. So obviously, I'm not referring to those people, but most people that come here, I find it to be quite respectful. We've gone to several games, and people are very respectful and mindful of other people. So I think we should use this opportunity now, even more so than before, to invite people to connect the mosque to the club. Not from a point of view of games. Okay, we don't, that's not the important thing. It's from a point of view of working together on things.
Yeah, I was reading that the reason why the game in Luton has been postponed is because of the preparation that we're making for the Premier League.
Is that right?
So they've postponed some of our home games in line to make sure that we're ready, our stadium, etc. So obviously, it is the smallest stadium in the Premier.
Yeah,
and obviously our changing rooms and away rooms, etc., will not be to the standard of big ones.
No, because I think what they've done is obviously there was a press room and stuff that they had to upgrade or create. I think it existed actually.
Yeah,
but I don't think seating has increased.
No.
It was 10,000 before. Probably around.
Yeah, around.
And Luton Club can correct us if we're wrong. Apologies, Chairman. So, all right. So that's a discussion on Luton Town. But I think as a community, we can move away from the football now. But let's work together. So, do you think there's problems is there a stigma attached with mosques working with organisations like the Luton Town Football Club or the rugby club? No one really follows rugby that much in Luton.
No, I don't think there is any stigma to it. I mean, I think there's an element of we haven't done it before. Well, we have in the sense of Oakwood and I'm sure the local mosques, but mosques in general have not done that as much as I think we should. And I think it's the unknown, I suppose, more of the issue. We had that iftar inside the stadium, and everyone was there. That's the first time we've done it, from what I can recollect. But it was such a great experience. But once you've done it, you realise, why haven't we been doing this before? Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of those things where a lot of the mosques, they haven't engaged the stadium or organizations such as Luton Town Football Club, so they don't know what to expect. And once they've done it, they realize it wasn't really that difficult or that sort of worry. I think it's more a sense of when we invite them, would they want to drink alcohol? Perhaps if we were to invite them on dinner, I think it's just these sort of questions which are really, I think, once you really have those dinners and have those events, you realize they're nothing. It's quite straightforward. It's quite easy, but it's a matter of taking that first step, because I don't think they will take the first step. I think we have to take the first steps to get involved, to open the door, get our foot through the door, and then get that ball rolling.
And look, let's be honest, in terms of religious groups, the only one right now which has a lot of following, in Luton I'm talking, not outside of Luton, within Luton, the one that has the most following, or the number of people attending mosques or places of worship, and especially younger population, is the Muslim faith, right? Muslims tend to be the ones that, obviously we've worked with a lot of churches as well, and I think the complaint is the same across all churches: we can't get our young people in, and so they'll have some programs trying to really get people in, but mosques don't have that problem. It's the problem of what can we do with these young people, especially the 5 daily prayers and the Friday prayer in particular. There's so many people. How can we connect that number to a place like Luton Town Football Club?
Yeah,
I think that's the key question to answer. But I think it becomes quite challenging because the club has its own obligations, but we have to find some sort of solutions, because that is how we're going to work. Like, I think Inspire FM is in a very good place now, and they have been doing a lot of work, Inspire FM, with different organizations, whether it's Luton Food Bank, whether it's FOB, and whether it's so many other organizations. But I think there's an untapped potential with the club, especially now that it is where it is, because young people now are very aware. So before, obviously, in the championship and even below that, the young people didn't really care so much about the football club. But now they realize, actually, they've got something there. So that's the power of success, right? It allows people to see you as a new force, which they're proud of. I know as a Lutonian myself, I'm proud of them. And I know a lot of young people that didn't really associate themselves with Luton in the sense of the footballing scene, geographically, obviously, especially in Millwall. But, now they are very proud of that Luton heritage. So we need to get that pride, in the good pride, and combine that with action and somehow create these links within big organizations.
Yep.
Yeah. And obviously, if you have any suggestions on what we could do, because we do have people in the club, and as I said, we've done events with them in the past, then please 07779 481822. It's important we get feedback from the community, because we can obviously, we have ideas, but if you're listening right now and you think you have an idea which could change the history of Luton, essentially, we don't know what's at stake here. So if you have an idea, don't keep it to yourself. Pick up the phone or WhatsApp. Don't need to call anyone. Don't need to speak to anyone. 07779 481822. I'll repeat that. If you have any ideas on how we can engage the club or any other organization of that nature, then please 07779 481822. And we can keep it confidential and obviously discuss it with you. It doesn't have to be on radio or anything like that. So that would be really good. Let's move on to our next topic, which is the controversial one. And I was thinking we'd start it after, but I think we can give the bonus and just give it a start. So, did you celebrate the 14th of August, my friend?
Partially.
You don't have to answer that question.
Partially.
You could deny it.
Well,
you celebrated partially?
Yeah.
What did you do partially then?
Partially was in my general demeanor, in my presence.
You didn't wear green?
Huh?
You didn't wear green?
My blood is green, bro.
There's something wrong with you.
Yes, there is something wrong with me. I'm seeing a doctor about it.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, you didn't really celebrate. This year feels really strange, actually.
Yeah, usually in Luton Town, we have something happening in Bury Park, but I didn't, get with that. Sometimes we go to Southall, obviously that's usually quite great. But I think because of the current situation in Pakistan, people have felt that, maybe this time as a protest, we will not celebrate. But yeah, that could be a possibility.
There's no denying that there's a large diaspora of Imran Khan fans. We've done shows on this since RFM before. I think generally people that are outside of Pakistan seem to have a really strong liking for him. and obviously, as you know, he's in jail now. In the last few days, and apparently not very good conditions as well. So there is a darkness in the country right now as we speak, and the inflation and prices. So much has changed compared to the last year. So obviously, last year his government was just toppled. Things had started to go bad. No one had predicted it was going to go as bad as it is right now. But the question, well, we're trying to obviously answer and discuss is whether we should celebrate or not. So let's start that discussion from what could possibly be wrong with celebrating an Independence Day. I ask you, I challenge you, sir.
Challenge. Open challenge. I think celebrating is not a problem. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, he's already passed the fatwas. Hello.
It's no, it's how you celebrate, I suppose. If one goes and Pakistanis, they be any sort of Independence Day or National Day, whatever you want to call it. If one goes to go overboard and for them that became their first identity from a Muslim perspective, I think that's where it becomes wrong.
I have one question. Yeah. Who's one?
One is anybody, someone in general.
All right. Chinese fella.
Yeah. So if a person believes that is their first belonging or what they feel is their first identity, then I feel that's where it goes wrong, because from a Muslim perspective, your first identity is a Muslim. You can't be what's the word I'm looking for? A nationalist from that perspective.
You can be if you're within limits, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can be, but you can't be. That can't be your first identity. Your first identity should always be a Muslim. All right, and I think from that perspective, now if you look at the sacrifice or sacrifices that were made for Pakistan, it's something that's worthy of celebrating. But obviously, the current circumstances.
Why is it worthy of celebrating?
Question: because it was the first Muslim state that was made for Muslims. Other places have been won, Islam came to them, etc. But this was the first country that was made in the name of Islam. Calling it Pakistan, so a pure land. It's a Islamic Republic, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, right? So it's Islamic. The whole purpose behind it is the fact Islam. So I think for that perspective, from Muslim perspective,
but I mean that's arguable though. Is this?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, is it Islamic?
No, that's not the. So I'm arguing some people argue.
Yeah.
Let me be that guy.
One.
Some people argue that Islam wasn't the principle which was made. It was basically the landed gentry who controlled most of Pakistan now. They basically wanted more power. And so they used Islam as a ways to, rile up the people and basically split the country.
Could be.
How do you respond to that?
Could be. The way I respond is what I see. And what it's called the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Now it was done to ride people over or whatever the case may be.
Really.
So no, it's a bit more. It's a bit like the Titanic. People say, the real Titanic was not the one that went. It was a fake one, and they planned on sinking it. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
But this wasn't a conspiracy. This just
it's a fact. It's a
political reading of the situation.
It's a political reading of the situation. Yeah, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I don't believe in that. I don't see that.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Okay.
It could be for the benefit of the few. You never know. I think most of the world is for the benefit of the few.
So primarily was done on the basis.
Yeah, I'm talking about an ordinary person who is a Pakistani who wants to celebrate his independence. But then, from my perspective, it's not a wrong thing to celebrate.
Yeah.
But it's on how you celebrate it.
Okay. But let's say, after you kind of alluded to that point yourself already, but let's say it was made for Islamic reasons, something along those lines. But currently, we know that there's a lot of problems from an Islamic point of view within Pakistan, right? Whether it's the treatment of the poor, whether it's, rights of certain people, certain groups of people, whether certain activities are being engaged in now. There is a lot which is wrong with Pakistan from an Islamic perspective. So I don't think anyone in their right mind will say it's an ideal Islamic country. No one would say that.
No.
Because, I suppose maybe that's not even possible anymore. Because we don't have the Prophet with us, and so there will be some mistakes, shortcomings, or whatever. But, okay, something happened 77 odd years ago. Where are we? 23, 47. Yeah. So, mind my maths there. What was that? 77 odd years ago, roughly,
Yeah.
So, Well, hold on, we're going to be going on a break shortly. So this is a key question. If it's technically not Islamic now, well, then what are we celebrating? This is the question I want to ask you and the listeners and myself. Let's come back after the break and carry on this discussion. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. In Luton and its surrounding areas, it is now time for Salat al-Asr.
लुटन और इसके मज़ाफ़ात में नमाज असर का वक्त हुआ चाहता है.
This azan has been sponsored by Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 72 1110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Would you like to sponsor the azan? If so, give us a call on 01582 481810 or email us on info@inspirefm.org.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Inspire 105.1 FM. You are listening to A Fair Reflection. And as always, we are trying to make sure the reflection is fair because, you know, sometimes these discussions can be quite emotional and we're quite vested in them, but we have to step back and actually look at them holistically and think, you know, is the direction that we're taking, is that the right direction? So our question I was asking is, people talk about Pakistan, for instance, because I know there's mostly Pakistanis. Obviously, we've got Indians in this community as well. But we're discussing more from an Islamic point of view, I suppose. So the question of Pakistan becomes more relevant. Since it's not representing, or it's not the image or the project that it was supposed to be, should we really be celebrating it? This is a question. What are my thoughts on this? You asked. We had a few people. Sister Sophia was asking me my thoughts. So, look, I personally feel that no, we shouldn't be celebrating. What's there to celebrate? Like there, we are talking about a time that was 70. By the way, it was 76 years, not 77 years. So, thank you for correcting me, Sister Sophia. So 76 years since Pakistan has been independent, right? So to celebrate something, you've got to be doing something, right? You've got to have achieved something. You've got to be proud of something. And so I'm not saying, by the way, there's nothing to be proud of in Pakistan. I'm not saying that at all. I'm asking the question is, currently, as we speak right now, what is it that we're proud of? Now, someone might say, oh, they have an atomic bomb, which is only a few of the countries in the world have it. Fine, but that happened in the 70s/80s. That was still 50 years ago now, 40 years ago. What are you celebrating right now, though? So, and the truth is, the situation in Pakistan is actually, I think, is a reminder that our society is eroding. And I think it actually should be a wake-up call. So I think the 14th of August should more be a time where we reflect and think, whoa, where did we go wrong? It's like, when you have birthdays, and so you hit 30 or you hit 40 or another milestone, and you think, my God, I haven't done anything that I was supposed to do. I've done very little of what I was supposed to do by this age. You don't celebrate that thing. And yes, I've only done so little. You become scared and you become worried and you think, okay, how can I change the situation?
Yeah.
I believe that is where we should be. Because I think even though people are depressed or whatever in Pakistan because of the inflation and Imran Khan and so many different problems, there's still quite a bit of celebration going on in Pakistan, And I think there was incidents of people dying because of, how people do firing in the air and stuff as a celebration. There was cases of people dying because of that. Yeah, this is just my opinion. By the way, I'm not someone that's not patriotic in any way. I'm sure you can vouch for that.
Nope,
I'm very passionate about Pakistan. But the truth is, even if
I feel like Independence Day.
Hello.
Like, for example, 4th of July.
Yes, it's one back.
Yeah. The idea is that it's not
4th of July
for America.
Okay, right.
For us, obviously, it's 4th of August. For India's 15th. It's not about what you achieved last in the previous year. Building up to that. Independence Day is more about independence. So you celebrate the journey till now, I suppose, yes. But it's the journey from where we were to where we are now. And it's celebrating those sacrifices, those things that we have achieved through this was the 77th Independence Day. So through that time, celebrating all of that. Yes, the current climate is not great, of course. Nobody wants that. And I think a lot of people would want an election as quickly as possible, etc. But it's still a celebration of, where we have come so far. Yes, it's not, we've had good places, we're currently in a bad place. But all in all, it's a celebration of where we were compared and where we are now.
But I would argue if you look at where we were in the 60s to where we are now, we're actually gone down, not up.
Okay.
So what are we celebrating?
The fact that we were up once, perhaps. But no, what I'm saying is those sacrifices that were made, before.
So you're saying we're simply celebrating independence from the British Raj?
Yeah.
That's simply what we're celebrating.
The cruelty done to the Muslim.
But I think that's a waste of time now. And I'm sorry for my strong words.
No.
But I think it's like, what we're still talking about what happened 76 years ago. And obviously it was terrible and everything that happened was very problematic. Obviously our own family migrated and people lost a lot of lives during that journey, people we know. And so it was horrific. But what's a country if it's still thinking about what happened 77 years ago and saying, yes, we're free now. And also on top of that, not just, okay, we're free now, but look where we are now. You see, we needed to break free from those chains and now look how much we're progressing. I could kind of understand that. But
yeah, but it's currently happening though. I think it's not about Independence Day or celebrating is not about a one-time event, though, is it? Because new generations are coming. They will understand the importance of 14th August or the importance of independence. Perhaps not 14th of August as such, but the importance of independence.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that 14th Independence should or 14th of August should be wiped out of the country's history. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it should be used.
It should not be celebrated.
I don't see a need for celebration right now. I see a need for reminding, and I see a need for correction. That's what I'm saying.
But don't you think a celebration does that?
Young people, no, a celebration doesn't do that. I think a celebration like, oh yeah, we're free.
It's not a birthday party, by the way. It's an Independence Day
party. Because that's what people do. If you see that in the video, what people are doing in Pakistan, and they normally do this. There's fireworks, painting their faces, there's the colors. Look, I don't want to take away from people's happiness, and there's a little joy right now in the world anyway. So, fine, it makes you happy, but I just think as a nation, on an individualistic level, fine. But as a nation, to be celebrating something that happened 77 years ago and saying, oh, yes, we're free. I'm just thinking, what's the...
Yeah, no, it's not... sorry, don't get me wrong. It's not just about that. Even now, considering the issues that we're facing, the turmoil that we have within Pakistan, the lack of leadership, etc. These are all issues, but still in that state, we're not in a place where we've been taken over by India or by the US directly, I suppose, or more than 50%, more than 49%. The point is we're still somewhat independent, and that's what independence is celebrating.
Yeah, okay, but is it to a deeper point? I think we. I wonder. This is an interesting thought I'm having now. Do we give too much importance to independence? Like, we talk about independence, and that is great. Independence in itself, that you can self-rule and make progress, is great. But the fact that we've self-ruled, and obviously not just because of Pakistanis, but there are other countries that want Pakistan to be a certain way, and they want to keep Pakistan within a certain sort of paradigm, so they facilitate those certain events. And Pakistanis for themselves start playing for everything that's happened as well. Do we want to celebrate the independence so much where it's not bringing any benefits? Freedom is very good if that means you can do something with it. But freedom is leading you to become a society which is moving away from even family values to a certain extent, even religious values to a certain extent. Not the entire population, but some elements of that population. And there's a lack of justice in the country. There's a lack of system in the country. People trying to pay electricity bills are struggling because they're getting charged their neighbor's electricity bill and they have no one to complain to. So in all of that, freedom is fine, but if the freedom is actually causing us more problems, then I'm just questioning the premise on celebrating it.
Yeah, but from my perspective, this is all right, but that is as a result of poor leadership. That's as a result of not having the right people in the right places, having corrupt individuals running the show. That's not. I don't think it's got to do with independence. Anything to do with independence, because if you think about it, would you rather be in a place where we're currently ruled over by the likes of forget Pakistan than this, so Narendra Modi with all these things going on at the moment? There is no Pakistan. There is no place for us. Or would you rather, we have the situations, but we have our own safe place?
I mean, arguably that would have never happened, because obviously Muslims had a massive population, especially when we were combined. Because right now Muslims are larger in India than they were. But I'm
just trying to compare if we were to remove Pakistan now.
I'm not saying that freedom is a bad thing. I'm saying freedom is a good thing, but if it is bringing you some benefits. What I'm saying is no point celebrating freedom if it's not bringing you benefits. I think the people right now generally are in a worse of condition than they were 50, 60 years ago. So after independence, obviously 70.
But isn't that everywhere in the world? In different things.
Look at India. India's a good example for this. And I know, actually, I got to be careful. I might get. People have an
clearly almost celebrating Independence Day every day.
I think I'm I'm anti-Pakistan.
So how's your Independence Day going so far?
Which is mad because I'm not anti-Pakistani in any shape or form. It's actually the exact opposite. But it's just, I think we need to realize. I'll tell you why I say all of this is because, Muslims generally, we'll talk about the golden era, we'll talk about the four caliphs, and we'll talk about Salahuddin Ayyubi, and we'll talk about these amazing times that have nothing to do with us, and then use them as a means to deflect, and use them as a means to distract. Instead of saying, whoa, hold on, we have fallen from grace, And so instead of using that to actually come back better, we use that and make ourselves worse.
Yeah, no,
this is why fear is happening with Pakistan right now.
Yeah, I see your point, but I wouldn't then say Independence Day should not be celebrated. The same way we still celebrate the work and everything done by the four caliphs. And
It should be acknowledged.
Acknowledged, yeah, but
And
I
learned from.
suppose that is part of the celebration, isn't it? Acknowledgement. No. Independence Day is not day just. I don't know what people. Other
It is
people do, I
celebration. It's
suppose.
like, yeah, we're free. That how independent Azadi then. What else is it? We're
Yeah.
free.
Yeah, we're free. So we
Great.
get a reminder of what sacrifice that people made, why we're here, and that works as almost as a reminder to everyone that look, we struggled so hard to get here. Let's move forward. And now the fact that currently the situation we're in, people are not moving forward, and we don't have a great place to be in right now, I suppose. But it does work as a reminder.
Sometimes in life you don't need good news, you need bad news.
We've got plenty of that.
No, and that reminder should be the one that tells you because once a year you have this moment of the Independence Day. That's once a year, right? That should be used to say we are not going in the right direction. If we carry on like this, we will be finished as a country. That's how serious that reminder should be.
Yeah, but don't you think?
And to say let's turn this around.
Don't you think this comes at a great time because considering everything's going in Pakistan and Imran Khan in jail, right? After the court orders, etc., and the judge comes over here, etc., and then Independence Day comes in, and people start saying, look, you know what, don't celebrate, etc., and Imran Khan turns around and says, look, no, go out there and celebrate, etc.
Well, I mean, he was asking people to go out there and obviously show numbers.
Show numbers, yeah, but
that's what
to
it
also celebrate. But the point is, I think that works as a reminder because we came from all this sort of persecution, etc., and now we're at the stage where people within Pakistan are being persecuted. What's the whole point of independence if we are in this situation?
So then,
and that works as a wake-up call.
yeah,
A
but if-
reminder.
yeah, but if that's you doing that once a year, where you get on your motorbike and start waving a flag and then go home and do exactly the same thing, then that's a pointless exercise.
Yeah, but I suppose
It's like Milad. It's like Milad in the essence of, how people, you know how some people celebrate Milad and think that this is the entire Islam, and they will just spend that one day reading nuts and doing whatever dhikr and, sending the root, and that's it. That's Islam and it's finished and this is it. I'm done.
that's the Prophet.
Then that is not the correct understanding of it. So if you're using that day to get closer and do more good deeds or that month, fine. Because you're living like that for the rest of your life also, then it makes sense. But if you're going to use this, again, Independence Day is the same example. If you're going to use this on one day of getting your motorbike and saying, oh, yeah, we're going to be free, and then not actually doing anything about it, which I think is what Imran Khan's been trying to say is, we've got to take these things. And I think he's been a good reminder to the people, trying to get them to understand that, you are somebody and there is a lot of potential there, but you have to unleash that potential. Of course, my biggest concern is that we give ourselves the sleeping pill and the time where we need a shot of adrenaline and to wake up.
Yeah, no, I agree with your point. I'm not. I don't think I'm in.
Well, you have been debating with the last 25 minutes.
But what I'm saying is, when you say that there's no need to celebrate, that's where I disagree with you. That I feel like there is still a need for celebration. There is still a need of that acknowledgement that we are free.
It's good, important.
People do acknowledgement in different ways. Some may do it with a fireworks,
Arguably, are we free?
but that's another debate that we'll come to. But the illusion of being free is there, though, isn't it?
Okay, let's turn this a little bit on its head.
No.
I know we've got a few people texting in. It's ripping up in here. 1 second, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So Nafisa says, what is wrong with being a nationalist and a Muslim at the same time? Now, look, first of all, we're not here to give you all the answers, right? This is a discussion so that you can, in your own time, think about these things and have that thought process. But we're not saying there's anything wrong with claiming to be a Pakistani. Allah says, obviously, that he's made nation and tribes so that we can recognize each other. That's fine. If that Pakistani thing is what makes you limit the people that, you associate with, especially, say, for instance, someone's a Muslim, but he's an Indian Muslim, and you're like, but I'm a Pakistani, you're an Indian. That is where it becomes a bit questionable, ignorant. Not question, it's ignorant. And I think I'm a little light form of jahiliyyah, where you shun someone because of where they were born or where they're from. That makes zero sense. So there's nothing wrong with identifying as Pakistani and having a culture and speaking a language. But if that makes you proud and haughty, then I think there is something wrong there. Haughty. Yes. Word not often used, I feel. It's in my armaments. Anyway, let's move on and change the direction of discussion. So we're talking about Independence Day, right? And so what if you are on the Indian side of all of this and you're a Muslim? Let's make this fun. Should you be celebrating Independence Day?
Yeah, I think they probably are. I think
Well, the 14th?
15th, I think.
Well, they're going to be celebrating Independence, India Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
But you, obviously, the whole context is based on Islam and all of that, so why would they be celebrating 15th?
They're probably not then. I mean, I don't know. I know you're from me. I'm not an Indian per se, but I think it comes down to where your sort of allegiance is or where you feel comfortable. A lot of Indian Muslims do. They are Indians and not Pakistanis. Even if it's the Pakistan versus India match, they still support India.
Are you talking about Indians from here?
Because
Because I spoke to a lot of Indians from there, in India, Muslim Indians, and they all said, actually, you know what, we kind of support Pakistan. But now so many bad things are happening in Pakistan, we make dua for them to be okay. Because in India right now, they're having a hard time.
But I suppose they support Pakistan mainly because it's a Muslim country, not because of the fact that they have a belonging to it.
No, because it's a Muslim country, because that
yeah.
could have been them, but obviously it
In
couldn't.
the same way everyone starts supporting Qatar when people start talking rubbish about the World Cup.
No, because of Muslim identity. Didn't it?
It was a Muslim identity. So from
So
that
I think the
perspective,
Indians here, because they don't know how tough life is in India, they're like, oh yeah, India. But the Muslims in India, apparently, they're having a real difficult time. And I suppose there's human rights violations that are happening.
yeah,
sort
and
of
that's the
Indian
reason why
stuff.
we should celebrate Independence Day. Boom, bang, open shut case. Johnson.
Your independence wasn't from the Hindus. Your independence as Pakistan was from
Everyone.
the British,
It's from
including ourselves.
it's from the lot. But no, that's an interesting question. If you
Should we celebrate the 4th of July as Americans? All right, Pakistan, you said they has some Islamic even reasons to celebrate. Fine. Let's put the social questions that I was posing to the side for a second.
Yeah, but
What about
this was
non-Muslim nationalities? Do we celebrate them as well?
I suppose everything in look, if you're a Muslim, that's a Brit through and through, so to speak, right? That means someone who's got lineage and ancestors that go way, way, way back.
Well, but the British don't have an Independence Day, so we can't.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving it. Be US, okay, American. But why company? Let's go back to America. If they were to celebrate, but they realize Islam is the first identity, American second, then yeah, why not? It's just celebration of from the Brits, you know. So
It's got nothing to do with it.
who's going to do it?
Or have they got something to do with it?
That's what I'm saying. If they're connected to the land,
Well,
from
if
that
they're born
perspective-
there, then
Yeah, I don't know about born because if you're born Pakistani there, if you feel like that's your heritage, yeah, why not, mate? Go for it.
Yeah.
But your blood says you're Pakistani. It's a bit different. But your paper says you're American, but blood is Pakistani. So I don't know. I think that's subjective. It's each down to the individual. But what isn't subjective is how you celebrate.
What I'm hearing from you is saying that nationalism is the best thing that's ever happened to the world.
Please, mate.
Since life.
I've never said that since last breath.
Please, Tarek and Inspire FM, please support him.
What would be this one? No, what would be? He's the one that puts the honey. But no, what I'm saying is celebrating national days is subjective. But what isn't subjective is how you celebrate. And from that perspective, if you're a Muslim, your Muslim identity comes first, no matter where you're from.
Yeah.
And after that, if you want to celebrate nationalism, go for it, mate. No one's stopping you.
I think with every celebration that there is, you've got to really understand what you're celebrating. Instead of it just being an exciting thing where, like, even Eid, for instance, like, we're encouraged to go through that struggle of fasting so that you have a reason to celebrate. Because I think one of the scholars mentioned this, if you are not fasting and you are doing sins throughout Ramadan, then Eid is not for you. Eid is for that person, that Muslim who is struggling against himself and actually working hard to then be able to celebrate something.
Yeah,
This, I believe is true.
Yeah, we've got to remove what's from Islamic practices, Islamic ways of doing things, certain things, as well as some cultural aspects.
But I mean, any struggle has to be rewarded and celebrated. If you don't have a struggle, you ain't celebrating nothing, is my point. You shouldn't be celebrating nothing if you're doing nothing. What are you celebrating? What I'm saying is, as a country, for us to celebrate Independence Day, now we got to move forward. First of all, enough of this, the British did this to us. It's like, I hear certain communities, I think a lot of black people are quite good. They're like, forget about this, let's move on, let's become better. But I see some people still saying, but they haven't apologized for this. And they're not going to apologize for this and that. The slavery that they did and the evil crimes that they committed, They're not gonna apologize to the British, to Pakistan and India and Bangladesh for all of the crimes that were committed. It's not gonna happen. So let's put that behind us now and say, look, that happened. Okay, fine. It was part of our history. Done. We're out of it now. But now, if you're gonna celebrate, let's have a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, but some might be of the opinion that okay, you may think it's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna make it happen.
What's gonna happen?
The apology, for example.
Who cares about the apology?
No, you don't. But the point is, there might be an African American somewhere who feels like, no, mate, this has.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's wasting his time, but
that's what you think.
No,
he's not. He feels like there's a cause.
What I'm saying is that's the people that will be stuck in the past. And that as a country, if you're still stuck in the past and thinking, oh, but this guy did me injustice and this, and also, what's an apology going to do for you?
I don't know.
Legitimize your pain?
No, but I suppose it's more for them to understand what they did was wrong.
And what benefit is that going to bring you as a country? Let's talk about Pakistan first. Don't forget about Jamaica and Africa and all of that. I want to talk about, because it's personal first. If the British turn around and said, yes, we're sorry for the atrocities out, and I'm sure some people already have said that, but if King Charles tomorrow turns around and says, what happened in Pakistan and India and the subcontinent was wrong, and we apologize for it, what changes in any way fundamentally with your life?
It depends on who you're asking for as an apology. If you're asking for someone just to say these few words, I am sorry, that's not going to do much for you.
No,
but if you're asking for
billions as well,
no, maybe not billions, but if you're asking for some sort of action to make up for that, now, for example, in America, I don't know what it's called, man. It starts with R.
But this country is broke already. They ain't paying you nothing.
I don't know. There's a way. Like, for example, in South Africa, right? What they've done in South Africa is because of the apartheid. What happened? They've created this policy that's called BBBEE, which is broad-based Black economic empowerment. Right. What that basically does is Black businesses owned by Black people, they give them economic empowerment. They're favored for businesses. They're favored. So if a supplier, for example, if your company was to do some work in South Africa, right, the government would want you to try and choose those businesses.
Okay. That's just in Africa. There's another country.
I'm just saying.
So America has that policy.
No,
they didn't have apartheid.
They don't have that. The point I'm trying to make is that depending on what you ask from your government, there are things you can get which are like an apology, but they're better than an apology.
Big difference is they're not your government anymore. They were talking about a complete sovereign state.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, yes, asking for someone to say I'm sorry will not give you any benefit. I agree with that. What I'm saying is your apology can be different. It doesn't have to be the fact that you have to say sorry to me. It could be the fact that you make certain things right. For example, you give black minority people more chances of X, Y, and Z. You give them more of other benefits.
I'll be blunt here. You're wrong.
No, brother, you are wrong.
The reason I say that is as long as we're looking for handouts, as long as we are begging the people that oppressed us to somehow make things right for us, we'll be stuck in this one.
I agree with this. I agree with that. I am with you.
What a guy.
I agree with that mentality. I think the mentality...
Yes.
No. I agree with the fact that this mentality... I'm not arguing for the point of... I'm not arguing with you or debating with you from... That's not my point of view that I'm sharing.
I know this is what
I'm sharing the point of view of what people that are fighting for this would have.
Yeah,
I agree with your view, which is also my view, that looking for handouts, looking for apologies will get you nowhere. If anything, it will keep you stuck back in time. I agree with that, absolutely. But when you're saying that there's no point of it, from their perspective, what I'm trying to give you is their perspective as to why they're doing it.
Right.
As to why they feel there is a need for an apology.
I understand. Thank you very much for facilitating that discussion. Having had those points,
I still think you're right.
I genuinely do believe that people are... I know this is true for Black people as well. I know it's true for South Asians and wherever oppressions happen, because there's been a lot of places. We're much better off, and I will leave it at this. In my opinion, I think we should acknowledge Independence Day, and so that people know what happened from a historical point of view. But we need to work harder for the country, not just the people in Pakistan, people here as well that are associated with that country, so that we can achieve something and be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important. Instead of looking back on the golden days and saying, "Oh, look what we've done this." Let's work on new achievement and new breakthroughs. So next year, inshallah, in 2024, we can be like, what a year. And then we can celebrate that. My opinion.
Will you celebrate independence, or will you be celebrating the...
No, I think progress is obviously celebrating, not independence. And that's done. Alhamdulillah, it happened. We can be thankful for it in a sentence and move forward.
So the year there is no progress, there is no celebration.
No, then there should be a year of thoughtfulness and insightfulness and introspection. What happened? Where did we go wrong?
My love you, bro. I don't know where you living, but chilling.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll work on that one.
Yeah. Any last thoughts from you? We'll sign off.
Don't do the show. No, but I think this was a really good insight.
Yeah, and Nafisa, thank you very much for your messages. And there was a few I just couldn't get around to reading from my other phone. And so join us again next week, inshallah. And if you do disagree with us, or me, or us, let us know, please. It will be good to hear, and we can discuss this when we come back. We'll be going on a short break for the next few weeks, and we'll be back after that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salma was famous among her relatives.